Thank you all for making it out to Las Vegas. It's nice to see so many people in the MGM Grand. We also have a virtual cast at the Caesars Forum, so those of you that are in the Caesars Forum, welcome as well. I've been part of the AWS Marketplace team for 5.5 years now, and it's exciting to see how many people here in the audience are looking to accelerate their innovation through our partner solutions as well as through Marketplace. It's not only humbling, but also super exciting to see that you all here are interested in what we have and what we've built over the last decade. I'm Jen Valverde, and I had the opportunity this year to lead the AWS Marketplace business development team for the Americas. And I'm joined by Andre.
Hi, everyone. Our
head of product for the SaaS server machine learning products on Marketplace. And a very special guest with us today, Chris Dayton, a customer and the CTO of Criteria. Yes, thank you. That's worth a round of applause for sure. We're going to spend a little bit of time today talking about what are the spend behaviors that we're seeing, the trends in the market, and why they're changing. I'm going to go over a little bit of the business value and what we're seeing organizations do to transform. Then I'm going to turn it over to Andre. He's going to dive into some of the product features and functionality that we've built in order to help satisfy those business needs. And Chris is going to bring it together for us. He's going to give you real-world examples of how he has transformed and the journey that they have gone through within Criteria in order to leverage our platform, AWS, and the services that we offer. So let's get started. Before I dive too deep into the presentation, I would like to ask you to mute your cell phones. We do have some QR codes, though, so keep them handy. That way you can have some resources to take back with you. So spend behaviors are changing, and what is estimated to be a $3.4 trillion market by 2026. And we're looking at all the reasons why. What is it that organizations are saying as to why this spend is going to go up so dramatically? And what we're seeing is that procurement models are not only evolving, but they're expanding. Organizations are looking at digitizing and modernizing their workloads. They're looking at how can I take processes that currently today are disparate and disjointed and modernize them so that they are one workflow when procuring software. Let's talk a little bit about strategic enablement. Organizations are looking at agile ways to get products, resources, data, the things that their builders need to them quicker so that procurement's not in the way. We're not waiting for a long cycle in order to get the right products in front of the right people in our organizations. And then we're looking at value. How do we optimize the efficiency of the cost? How do we reduce cost and make sure that there isn't software out there that we are using or not using that we're paying for? How are we spending in a way that makes sense for our organization? And not only is procurement looking at evolving in tasks that we've done in the past, procurement's now expected to look at things like risk management. How is it that we are able to govern the software, the data, and the services for our organizations? What is it that we're doing to modernize in that way? And then how are we sustainable? Not only do the companies that we're leaning in with match our own core values, but are they going to be sustainable into the future? And with that, we look at the problems and the needs of our customers, and AWS works backwards from those. We look at what to build, how to build it, and what to invest in. And with that, let's see here, I'm sorry. Wrong button. We have AWS Marketplace. Over the last decade, we have built a transformation in procurement at scale globally, with over 20,000 product listings, 5,000 ISVs or sellers and 70 different categories in order to meet the needs of our customers. And we do this with a broad selection of products that you trust, with flexible payment options that are easy and fast to deploy. And with that, we wrap around risk management, the ability for you to take a look at what's in your environment and make sure that it's secure. With all of these features, we're seeing a 75% reduction in vendor onboarding. That means that when you are attempting to get a product into your environment, that we're shortening that time frame for you. Time savings just due to efficiencies, the ability to click through the AWS console and purchase items that you need. And then a drop in licensing cost of 10%. And that's also due to the efficiencies of the way that you pay, the flexible payment schedules that you can put in place or pay-as-you-go options. I'm not going to dive too deep into the features because we're going to have Andre for that. But this has all been validated by the Forrester Wave in 2023. We were ranked top for marketplace strategy and marketplace presence. And with that, the QR code, as I promised, is up on the screen. So take a picture of that. And like we say at Amazon, dive deep, learn and be curious, and really get to know what it shows. It's not just us saying that this is true. And I'd like you to please help me welcome Andre to the stage.
Jen, thank you for the great insights. Hi, everyone. Once again, my name is Andre, and I'm a product leader in AWS Marketplace. My goal at AWS is to make it easy for developers to buy, deploy, and run third-party software which is optimized for AWS. Before we dive into the marketplace features and capabilities, let's do a quick survey. Please raise your hand if in the last 12 months you had to purchase any kind of software for your company or your business. Great, I see many hands in the room. Please raise your hands if you ever used any kind of cloud marketplaces. Not that many hands, and this is great. So we're going to talk about some of the challenges that many of the companies are facing today when buying third-party software solutions, and hopefully you can relate to that, and we can offer you some of those solutions on how to streamline this process. So I'm excited to continue by diving deep into what AWS Marketplace has to offer. And let's go over how to streamline the software procurement and increase operational efficiency, all while scaling faster than ever. It all starts by getting the right tools in the hands of your builders and developers. And that includes the third-party software, services, data. But here's the catch. You need to do this quickly, efficiently, and securely. And that's where AWS Marketplace comes in. Picture this. Your developers can get quick access to the tools that they need. And at the same time, your procurement team can keep a handle on the purchase decisions. They can manage the provisioning of the tools that you've purchased, and at the same time, keep an eye on the budgets. And in addition to that, the security experts can quickly size up all the potential risks and understand what is kind of the products that they're buying. So it's like a win-win-win situation. Your developers are happy, your procurement leaders are happy, and your security experts can sleep better at night. So let's dive deep. Let's talk about the challenge that many companies are facing. Finding and evaluating the right solution takes time. We did a survey a few months ago among the AWS customers, and we found out that when companies looking for specific solutions like data and analytics or monitoring, they would evaluate dozens of different solutions. And they would run at least 3 proof of concept before committing to a purchase decision. This is the long process. It takes on average 3 to 5 months. That's a lot of time jumping between different websites, filtering the search results, and manually piecing all the information that you have gathered. That's where AWS Marketplace comes in. Think of it as the well-organized, curated catalog of data, services, and software. We have organized everything into the 7T categories, covering areas like infrastructure, machine learning, professional services, and many others. For your builders, for your developers, it's very easy to find the solutions that they need, following the different clues, using smart filters, and using the search categories that we have prepared for them. So for example, if your builders are looking for a storage solution or data and analytics, Gen AI, we got it covered. You can also search by the industry use cases. If you're in healthcare, you're in financial services, we have categorized all the solutions for you on the AWS Marketplace website. It's easy to search. Here is something you might particularly find helpful, and especially builders and developers who use AWS on a daily basis. Many of the marketplace products can be discovered and purchased directly from the AWS consoles, like EC2 or EKS, SageMakers, and many others. So they don't even need to leave their workspace. It's all integrated. And we understand the importance of making the informed decisions. And that's why we have included thousands of customer reviews on the marketplace websites. It's like getting insights from your peers who have already tested these solutions. And I'm also excited about our newest features, the AI-powered summaries and comparisons, which are now available for the most popular software as a service products that are listed in Marketplace. The comparisons will give you the ability to look at the products in the same category and quickly evaluate it across the common criteria, like the security standards, pricing, etc. And the summaries will give you the key insights from what the actual customers who have reviewed those products have to say, covering what is the quality and availability of the customer support, or the ease of use and configuration, and many others. I encourage you to try it out after the session. And for those of you who prefer the hands-on approach, we have over 3,000 free trials that are very easy to get started with. So you can quickly build a proof of concept to see if the solution actually meets the needs of your business. Now let's talk about procurement. AWS Marketplace is flexible enough to work the way you need it to, whether you're a startup, a small business, or a large organization. First, you can choose to purchase directly using AWS Marketplace's self-service option, which gives you a clear upfront pricing with public terms and conditions, and it is as easy as point-and-click experience for you or your builders to get started with. And all the charges for those products will go directly into your AWS bill. So you're paying through your AWS bill for every purchases you're making through AWS Marketplace. But what if you need something more tailored? That's where AWS Marketplace Private Offers comes in. Using private offers, you can negotiate custom terms and pricing directly with the software vendor or by using the channel partners or the resellers. And we have a new feature that I'm very excited about, launched a few weeks ago. You can now request private offers directly from the AWS Marketplace website. So if you feel that the public pricing is not what you're looking for, you want to negotiate a bigger deal or discuss the custom terms with your vendor, you can get into the private offer negotiation with just a few clicks from the Marketplace website. Now, let's address something that often slows down the procurement process, the contracts. I'll do another quick survey. Please raise your hand if you ever negotiated a software contract. Yes, I see a lot of hands. You probably know how challenging that can be. So because to help you with that, AWS Marketplace has introduced a standard contract. Think of this as the pre-approved, pre-negotiated set of license terms that is applicable to many, many vendors. So you review it once, your legal team runs it once only, and then for everything that's used in standard contract, you don't need to review it again. It's a real time saver, especially if you consider that more than 60% of products in AWS Marketplace have adopted the standard contract. And I'm talking about the thousands of listings that you can purchase using only one standardized contract terms. But we know that sometimes you need more flexibility. So if you're negotiating a truly big deal, large contract, or you're not happy with something, with the terms in the standard contract, use it as a starting point to negotiate a private offer. Our vendors are very familiar with this process and then can customize the standard contract terms by creating a specific addendum. Let's continue with the procurement experience. AWS Marketplace offers a robust set of tools to help you control your budgets and optimize your costs. First up, our cost management tools. AWS Marketplace is integrated with AWS Budget. Think of this as the financial early warning system for your business. You can set up the customized alarms which will notify when you're approaching this certain spending limit for the marketplace purchases. So you can define the certain budgets, what you're comfortable spending, and you will be getting notifications well in advance as you're approaching those limits. The next is the Cost Explorer, which is also integrated with AWS Marketplace. Think of this as the bird's eye view on all of your expenditure. And specifically for the third-party products that you're buying from Marketplace, you can quickly get a snapshot of which products are taking the biggest bites from your software budgets. And you can also monitor how those costs are trending over time. That's a really helpful tool. We've also recently upgraded our purchase order management system. I know for many customers, purchase orders are essential to manage your procurement cycles. So now you can attach private offers to even more types of transactions in Marketplace, including pay-as-you-go and the annual contracts for our AMI products. With these new tools, with these new changes into purchase orders, you can even change the purchase order after making a subscription, as soon as it happens before the invoice is generated. For those big purchases where you want to spread out the cost over time, we also have a few tools to offer you. First, the flexible payment schedule. This is the tool that allows you to negotiate custom payment terms with your vendors, and you can pay in installments. And all of those terms will be visible and clear upfront on your AWS bill. Another tool, which we launched just recently, and I'm very excited about it, is the financing. You can now finance your marketplace purchases directly from the AWS console. This is the great way for you to spread out the cost and optimize your cash flow, but at the same time, with the ability to give this right tools, the software, services, or data right in the hands of your developers as quickly as possible. We're also catering to our global customers by supporting transactions in multiple foreign currencies, including euro, British pounds, Australian dollars, and a few more. This is the great way for, if you're an international customer or you prefer making purchases in international currencies, this is the great way for you to avoid a foreign exchange risk and get transparency into your spending. The last thing I want to talk about on this slide is the deployment efficiency. AWS Marketplace is not only about finding and buying the software, it's also about making sure that the software, the solutions that you're buying are easy to run, they're optimized for AWS. And let me give you a few examples. For example, Amazon Machine Images, or AMIs. Those are the snapshots of the software that can be, in a single click, deployed on the EC2 instance. Our integration with EC2 allows you to automate the instance creation and simplifies all the configuration process, saving a lot of time for your developers. The next is, if you're working with Kubernetes, applications from AWS Marketplace can be installed as the add-ons on EKS clusters right when you're creating an Amazon EKS cluster, or you can add them to the clusters which are already running. I was talking before that about the builder experience that your innovators can enjoy, that they don't even need to leave the workspace. This is one of the examples. And lastly, for the SaaS products, some of them require configuration in your account. You need to deploy certain resources, like create a storage to store the logs, or connect it to your compute resources. For that, we offer SaaS Quick Launch. This is the feature which automates integration between the third-party SaaS and your AWS environment. So AWS Marketplace is all about the entire lifecycle, from search and evaluation to efficient procurement and to a secure and efficient deployment of the software. Next, let's talk about a challenge that many companies face when adopting cloud marketplaces. And this is the concern that users might bypass established guardrails. I do a lot of customer interviews, and the number one concern I hear, I don't want to give blank access to my developers. I'm concerned that the budgets will go out of control, or they might buy solutions that are not secure. This is the very common thing. And AWS Marketplace has some very powerful tools to make sure you remain in control of what your organization is buying and how you're managing those expenses. So let's talk about a few of them. I want to start with the private marketplace. Think of this as the governance layer on top of AWS Marketplace. As an AWS administrator or a marketplace administrator, you can curate your own catalog of products that are available for your developers. So I think Jen was showing us data before. We offer over 20,000 public listings. If you don't want to give access to all of them at once, that's fine. Set up a private marketplace. It takes a couple of clicks, and you can either create an approved list of products, whether it's 5, 10, or 1,000, or you can create a denied list of products by restricting access to the certain types or categories of the product that you don't want to be purchased by your developers. And the cool feature of private marketplace, you can even create your own logo and make it feel like truly your own. So when you share it with your developers, they would know that it's created by you, and it's safe to use, and it's approved to use by your organization. The next is the managed entitlements. This is the feature that allows you to control the license distribution. Think of this as the control center, a traffic control center for the licenses for what you purchase in Marketplace. This is the great tool for administrators to make sure that only approved users are getting the right licenses and only approved workloads getting access to the resources that you want them to get access to. In addition to that, the managed entitlements give you insights on the usage across different parts of your organization, and even offer you the recommendations on how to consolidate them. A feature that we launched recently is the Procurement Insights dashboard, which is complementary to the managed entitlements and some of the other cost management features that I was talking before. It gives you the bird's eye view on all of your marketplace spending. What's cool about this feature is that it gives you access and view not only in a single account and not even a single organization. You can connect multiple AWS organizations to get a view on all of your spending purchases through Marketplace. For the procurement leaders, it's a very valuable tool that gives you the consolidated view of what your developers have access to and what they have purchased. And it also gives you the early warnings for when your contracts are about to expire, prompting you to kick off renewal negotiation with the vendors. And then lastly, I was talking about the security leaders and how we make their life easier. So for most of our catalog and all of the server products that are listed at Marketplace, including server images or container images, they are carefully scanned for vulnerabilities, so your security leaders can trust them to be safe. But in addition to that, we offer vendor insights, a feature designed for the SaaS products. Think of this as an access to the security posture and compliance information about the applications that you want to buy. You can request access to the vendor insights to review how the application is built. Is it compliant with the certain security standards like SOC 2 and others? But what's cool that you can sign up for the notifications even after you purchase the product. So if something changes in the security posture or in the compliance for the products that you've purchased, you will be notified. I want to wrap up the overview of Marketplace by highlighting one of the most fast-growing categories in AWS Marketplace, and it is generative AI. Gen AI is becoming essential for many organizations, whether you're using it as the core product, as an internal tool, or a way to streamline your operations. However, the Gen AI landscape is still growing and evolving, and it comes with both opportunities but as well as challenges. I know there are people in this room who are experienced with negotiating complex contracts for the software, but imagine how would you negotiate a 5-year contract for the foundational model with the Gen AI vendor? Or how would you compare the different tools? Or how would you predict your costs and prices? AWS Marketplace has a lot of expertise in this space, and we are happy to help you navigate through those challenges. But as also you can see on the slides, we offer a pretty robust catalog of the Gen AI products, including the Gen AI listings itself, the models, AI models and algorithms that can be deployed directly on SageMaker, and also the data sets that you can use to train your models or to run this in productions. From foundation models to tooling, applications to consultants, and third-party data, find a Gen AI solution in AWS Marketplace that fits the needs of your business. And with that, please help me welcome Chris Dayton on stage. Chris is the Chief Technology Officer of Criteria, one of our customers. Chris, thanks for joining us today. And I hope you can help to put into perspective what Jen and I covered in the last half an hour. We're excited to hear about how you're using Marketplace. Thank you.
Thanks, Andre. Good morning, everyone. It's great to see you. Wow, what a great way to start reInvent. Huh? We're kicking it off strong. I know you all have a lot of sessions you're looking forward to going to this week. I know I definitely am. So I'm just excited to be here, and it's fantastic. So again, my name is Chris. I'm the Chief Technology Officer for a company named Criteria. And I'll tell you a little bit about us in a moment, but again, thanks for being here, and I'm honored as a customer of AWS to be able to share how the Marketplace has helped our innovation story, and I hope that you can find some of it relatable today. So before I tell you a bit about Marketplace and how it's helped our journey, I want to give you a little bit of background on what we do at Criteria. Criteria is a talent success platform, and our mission is to help organizations make the best hiring decisions and secure the best talent they can for their teams. We do that 3 ways. The first way is we have assessment tests, all the way from cognitive to personality, natural language proficiency, which is an AI-based assessment, and we help, in a matter of minutes, you assess candidates effectively and bring the best talent onto your team. The next way is our structured interviewing product, and our structured interviewing product is rooted in automation and efficiency so that you have the capability to have structured interviews, you can have consistency in your application process, and you can understand who the best candidates are from your pool. And finally, we have an AI-first product named Develop, and that is taking the team that you hire, all that effort you put in assessments and video interviewing, and we help you develop those people to be the best they can and retain that talent in your organization. We have more than 4,000 global customers, more than 60 million assessments delivered. Many of you in the audience may even be customers, and thank you for that. And most importantly, we're 100% hosted on AWS, and we're really proud to say that. So let's talk a little bit about our journey at Criteria and how it relates to Marketplace. I'm a CTO. I procure software often. I'm always keeping an eye for which pieces of technology are on the edge, which ones are going to drive innovation for my team, which tools do my developers need in order to take them to the next level. And I know a lot of you in the audience as well have that same agenda. You're always thinking about what tools and opportunities you have to bring your team to the next level. And when I think about the process pre-marketplace, and I think about how I have to find a list of shortlisted vendors, maybe I have to go on their website, I have to reach out to them manually, I need to set up a time to call, I have to juggle the calendars. That process can be quite complicated. It can be time expensive. It can delay innovation because you need the tools. You have a purpose that you're trying to grab those tools for, and you need them at a point in time. And the longer you delay coming to a purchase decision, the longer that innovation process is pushed back. So these are some of the 4 characteristics I think about when making a purchase and making a transaction. The importance of cost management, the purpose of simplifying that procurement process is just always top of mind for me. And those are some of the ways that the marketplace really helps me. And I'll tell you a little anecdote. November 1st, I started looking for a security automation tool, particularly for ISO compliance, SOC compliance, et cetera. And I had a couple of vendors in mind, but the first thing I did was I sent an email over to my AWS account manager, and I said, hey, this is our need. You understand Criteria very well. And who do you recommend we do an evaluation of when it comes to security and automation? They gave us 3 very specific recommendations. They linked us to details in the marketplace, all the great information that Andre shared with us around customer reviews, package options, all completely available there in the marketplace. And November 1st, we kicked off that search because I got an email back the same day from our account managers. I knew exactly where to begin. I launched into the marketplace. I was introduced to a champion at each of those vendors who already have that warm partnership relationship with AWS. And we were scheduled that same week to begin evaluation and trialing of that software. And what's amazing is, that alone would have taken 2 to 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks just to set up these intro calls. And we all understand how frustrating those discovery calls can be sometimes when you jump on and there's 100 different questions. They don't have context of your organization. And I can testify that that did not happen when it was a warm introduction from our AWS team. The next important thing is when you're working with these vendors, now they have context of what you're looking to achieve in your organization. They have context for why you need the tool. They know the pain points, and now they can access you. And what's amazing is the contract process is also extremely simplified. So as Andre mentioned today, there are standard contracts available within the marketplace that accelerate the time it takes executives like myself and my team members to get the process through legal. Again, velocity is important. Criteria is a high-growth organization. We like to move at pace. Every day we do not have a piece of software that pushes us to that next level is our days lost innovating against our talent products. And then when it comes to executing the contract, there's no complex systems involved. You don't have to work through a third party. Your agreement or your private offer or whatever those terms are get loaded into Marketplace, and any of our authorized team members can execute that agreement. And that's really, really valuable. So with this anecdote of the security automation, we started our search November 1st, and we were signed, and we had a contract 3-year agreement before Thanksgiving. So November 22nd, we signed that contract. And that's a very fast time for us to get back to innovating, getting the tools we need. And it's just a fantastic way to explore the market and get recommendations. And here are some of the ways that the process impacts us. So again, having at my fingertips all of the vetted vendors that will allow me to start a search in any category. I could be looking for observability tools tomorrow. I could be looking for different AI models that I want to run interview intelligence on at Criteria Corp. And I know that I have access to my account management team, the marketplace team, and I know that those vendors are in the AWS Marketplace ecosystem. And that's something that I can say confidently. And because of that, it's a much lower risk. How many of you have had a contract with an organization before and the service did not meet expectations or it just fell totally flat? I got a lot of purchasers in the audience, and I know that happens sometimes. So you have a much lower risk because their relationship with AWS is valued. Your relationship as a customer with AWS is valued. And it just puts you in somewhat of an inner circle with these vendors, and I find that really beneficial when I'm purchasing software. So what I'd say is it's not just for the big players. So you hear the term procurement a lot, and you think enterprise. You think, oh, I don't have a procurement team, so I'm not going to get value in the AWS Marketplace. And the reality is, no matter the size of your company, and I would even argue in some cases, if you're a small business and you don't have that procurement resource, the Marketplace is a tremendous value add because you have access to those shortlisted vendors, you have access to that championed relationship between you, AWS, and that vendor. And it really just, I cannot emphasize enough, is just not only for the large players, it's for everybody, whether you're a small business, a startup, mid-market, or enterprise. I've been following the Marketplace product for the better part of 10 years, and it's amazing to see the functionalities that they continue to roll out to not only support the enterprise, but also make it easy to install in one click and review these vendors so rapidly. And you've got some of those great new features that Andre mentioned where you can compare vendors using generative AI and accelerate that process even further. And that's a fantastic asset no matter what class of organization you're in, whether you're a small business, medium, or an enterprise. So thank you so much for having me today. I hope you guys all have a safe time at reInvent. Again, my name is Chris, and please feel free to come up and ask us questions at the end if you have anything you'd like to discuss. Thanks again.
Chris, thanks for sharing your insights with us, and congrats on securing the 3-year contract. And what you were saying on stage is music to my product management ears. I'm glad that we're helping you to solve your business needs. And to the audience, just to wrap up today's presentation, I would encourage you to remember the 4 benefits of what the cloud marketplace is and AWS Marketplace specifically has to offer. This is the broad selection that gives your developers an opportunity to find the solution that they need. This is the streamlined procurement that makes the life of executives, procurement leaders, and also the regular developers much easier because you can get access to those tools faster and in a more manageable way. Marketplace gives you the cost optimization and saves you time and resources for your company. As Jen was talking earlier in the beginning of the presentation, with Marketplace, you can expect up to 10% in the cost reduction, up to 75% reduction in the time and effort required to onboard a new vendor, and many, many other benefits. And finally, the security, governance, and the control, the boundaries that you can set up for your developers so you could stay in control of what your company, what your builders have access to. I encourage you to pull up your phones and scan this QR code, which will take you to the AWS Marketplace. It's very easy to get started with. You don't even need to have an AWS account to browse through our catalog of the solutions. Please try and look for the industries or the use cases that are currently on top of your mind and see if Marketplace has something to offer you. And also, please visit us at the booth 326 in the reInvent Partner Pavilion, where our team of technical and business experts will be there the whole week to answer any of your questions. I also encourage you to learn more about Marketplace by attending these sessions. We have a packed agenda this week with 5 breakout sessions, 2 builder sessions, 4 chalk talks, and 1 workshop. You can find all those sessions in your reInvent mobile app, where you can search for the 3 letters. All those sessions start with MKT. And I encourage you to find the session that will be the most applicable for you. And with that, thank you for joining us today, and welcome to reInvent. Have fun this week, learn a lot, engage with your peers, and thank you for attending. Here's our contact information. Please feel free to reach out. Also, Jen, Chris, and I will be here after the session. We'll be hanging out for a few minutes. If you have any questions, please come over. We're happy to chat with you. Thank you.